Several song-filled hours later.
You got these people who are so enthralled with their own imagination that they think that they can know you better than you know yourself and the people around you that tested you to know. And it's pure entertainment for somebody like me that doesn't give a what they think about me. My thing is, I just want the audience. I just want the people, good or bad, I don't care. That was what I was in school. I was a class clown. I made sure that nobody learned anything if I wasn't learning it because it didn't need to be learned. Because you didn't tell me why I should learn it, then nobody's learning this shit, you know? I'm going to make sure that I'm going to have as much fun with the teacher and with my classmates as I possibly can. So everything is a triangulated joke. And it is a defense mechanism. It is, because I wasn't exactly the top student. In fact, I was my freshman year, I failed as many classes as you could possibly fail and still be allowed to graduate and walk down the aisle with your graduation class. I didn't care. I was about dancing, having fun, making music, making people laugh in my high school. And it was my freshman year. It was like, wow, finally, I'm out of the 8th grade, which I shouldn't have ever passed the 8th grade. They should just kept me in the 8th grade, because it was about popularity. It was about being the funniest, being the best dressed, all these things, and trying to even though I don't care about I could go for 3 days and wear the same shirt. But if I am going to be presenting myself, I understand the way people work in their minds. They want to see something good. So just because I put on a smoking jacket on my show doesn't mean I walk around one in my house all the time. No, I don't. And it's like people will judge you. Oh, he's wearing a smoking jacket. Well, he's dressed too nicely to be an ENTP. But what? Are you going to compare me to a bad ENTP, the person that doesn't care about their looks, their appearances so much that they just have alienated everyone from their family? That's not healthy. We have to learn to adapt. I have to shave every once in a while, I have put, beard color on my beard so I don't look, old and uninteresting. I want to be able to be not judged by my age. I don't want to be judged by my clothing. I want to be judged by my ideas, because ultimately, those are the things that I'm more proud of than, what I've accomplished in money-wise, monetary things that I've achieved in my life. Those things are meaningless to me. It's the big ideas, and especially when you realize that we are by nature selfish. My strongest muscle in my body was my tongue when I was born. So was yours. And that was to extract the nutrients from the host. And if we didn't get it, we screamed bloody murder. We were like, ah! And we weren't hurting, but we were manipulating the host to finally get back on the teat. And we have been this selfish individual much, much longer than we realize, but we have to be unconditioned from that selfish behavior by suffering and seeing outside of ourselves and looking at third world countries and looking at the way the rest of the world lives. Here in America, you can easily be, sheltered and live in a bubble and not realize that the rest of the world is in pain and suffering, and there's issues that we don't even hear about on our news stations. And then you get to realize, like, I finally woke up when I was 38 about the Federal Reserve. Like, I was like, what? You mean our money's not backed by gold? Like, what? And I started going, what is the Federal Reserve anyway? Oh, it's not federal at all? What? It's backed by what? By air? Oh, this is good. And I'm like, wait, I want to know more. And I finally didn't have to work for a living. I finally was able to just say, I can think and do and create whatever I want now. And I was so blessed to be able to look not only at just politics and governments and conditions, but also the inner problem that we have with the self. And I'm writing a book called Knowing the Self, which is ironic because people don't think I know myself, that I'm an ENTP. It's like, it's beautiful. It's like, wow. I mean, to make people think something so erroneous that you have expected, number one, expected 100%, called it, but then to sit back and watch that, you know what, these people are so easily led by one individual saying, oh, I don't think he's an ENTP because, you know, even though he's acting exactly like one, it's got to be something else, you know.
No. Well, if I'm an ENTP, well, to me, you sound similar to my thoughts. What's happening between my ear is similar to what you're saying. So I'm not irritated by listening to you speaking and saying your point of view. So because I would have probably said the same thing if I was in your shoes or knew what you knew. So to me, you and I are very similar. Our logic is built in a similar way, and we think for ourselves, and we listen, we get informations, we hear what people have to say, and at the end of the day, we make our own decisions. That makes us similar. We're both extroverted. We are both imaginative, and we're both adapting to the world as it comes, and we do not actually, well, from my personal experience, I do adapt to the world as it comes, but I grew up and I'm more mature now, so I'm putting pressure on the world, and I'm trying to distort the world or my reality to bend to my will or what I want from it. You know, it's not. I used to be passive about life, and now I'm more active about it, and I make shifts. I change things. I change relationships. I cut ties with people that we do not align with. People that will put you know, like informations in my head and would annoy me. You know, like. Well, actually, fears, it's not a thing. Like, I made a choice to dismiss fears in bulk. You know, if someone is emotional, I go like,
Exactly.
it's not me. It's not me. Like, my fears are not yours. And even when I say fears, it's concerns. It's thinking about what might happen. I'm fully responsible of my action. I do things, and then I'm responsible of it. If it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's gonna affect me. I do not do something that is gonna change someone else's life. You know, like I try as much to keep it effectless on other people, as long as, you know, like, they're free to live their lives. Like, it's not on me. Like, I do not have to change their lives unless they want to know something about it. They want to improve it. They want to change it. They want to know my opinion. I don't know about that. But me changing someone else's life, and that person is not interfering with my own life or my vision or where I'm going with my life. You know, if you don't stand on my way, I will not clash with you. But if you stand in front of me and you start to give me a lecture, and you start to become opinionated, I'm going to tell you what time it is.
Well, I like to hear the opinions, and, you know, for me personally, I do want to affect the way people think. And I don't necessarily want to affect one individual's life. I want to affect the entire world. I want to do things on a massive scale, or I don't want to do it at all. And then, you know, it's all these ideas that I come up with that are so massive. It would require all these people coming together. And that's one of the reasons why I created Club ENTP, was to bring together all these types so we could help one another, you know, of every type. It doesn't matter. It's just the fact that I'm an ENTP is like, you know, I mean, I could call it Club MBTI if I wanted to, but it's like, actually, why not just call it what I am? I mean, you know, I've been tested now 4 times. So it's like one of the most obvious things in the world, but our demeanor is very different, and our life experience has been very different. But the way that we think, I know that you want to affect the way people think, because the way you do communicate is so logical. It's so simple and so basic that the feelers get their feelings hurt, because it's like, but that's not going to make us feel good. And that's going to hurt somebody's feelings. Oh, don't do it. And it's like, oh, I can't stand it. Like, you know, my mom is an INFP. And I could say, I'm going to chew bubble gum. She's like, oh, no, don't, you might choke. It's like, no, I'm going to chew bubble gum because I want to blow a bubble. And then I have this big idea. I'm going to shoot it in slow motion and watch it explode. I mean, I'm just thinking it, just crap out of the, pulling it out of the air, right? But, because I think in an abstract way, I can better explain through stories and abstract thoughts than I can by saying, turn to page 1, and upon there you will see the preface, and we're going to start in the beginning. And I'm like, just get rid of the book, or let me look at what happens in the end. I mean, let me see the picture on the front. Okay, I can figure out what's going to happen by the cover of the book. When I put together some kind of something you have to assemble, I usually just throw the instructions away and just look at the picture and go, I can figure this out. What's this? Well, what does it look like? Where might it go? It's fun. But if I have to sit there and read first of all, you must do this. I mean, sometimes, you got an IKEA, you got to do it exactly, in this order, or, you got to take the whole thing apart, So I learned my lesson once, But when it comes to just anything, it's like, I don't want recipes. I cook with intuition. I just imagine what it's going to be like if I put the curry in with the ginseng and the whatever it is. And that is more interesting to me than doing something that everyone's done before, and I present it the way everyone else has presented it before. That's why I don't look to anybody else's shows to do what I do. I come up with something that nobody's going to think to do, and so will you. It's going to be original. You're imaginative. So I think that we need to be known for our creativity and our imagination, because we are known as, by typologists everywhere, that the ENTP is the most creative. And that just doesn't mean that we can paint or sculpture or make music or sing or rap or all that stuff we do, but we also can solve problems. We can solve problems that have never been solved before. When they say something, well, nobody can solve this problem, I'm just like, oh my God. Oh, please, can I try? Can I please try? Like, that's like, to me, it's like, okay, what is it that's impossible? I want to know, because I want to fix it. I want to be the first. Are you like that?
Yeah, I'm definitely like that. Like, when there is something that is impossible, I want to make it possible. It's within me. It's a drive. It's an insane thing going on inside of me. And
Bingo.
And then, like, for example, one of my friend or relatives would tell me, I have a problem. Well, this is my problem, and they will tell me their problem. And I will go like, you have these solutions. I will come up with a couple of solutions. Well, this is what you can do. You can pick. And then, like, I keep on going with them. And then when it goes wrong, then I find a way to solve it again. I don't know about you, but what I do is that I solve problems in the future, so I don't have to deal with them when they come. Like, for example, like a couple of days later, I forecast that this is what's gonna happen, and I solve it in the future. And then when I meet it in person, I go like, "Hi." Is it something that you do?
Yeah, that's what I do. That's how I meta act too. That's how I can take a project like I did with the host Eric and set him up for 13 months buttering his biscuit. And that's a saying that, like, basically letting them think that I was really a super fan, and because he wouldn't let another ENTP on with a show because that's competition. So he wouldn't even want to mention my name, but I was sifting off his viewers one by one. So, his subscribers became my subscribers, and not all of them, obviously, but that was one of my little rewards of having to put up with, this cringy show that is the worst produced show on the internet. I mean, just look at it. It is a train wreck, and I'm like, sorry, train wrecks. I know that wasn't fair. But the ultimate thing is, I want people to have a healthy identity of what ENTP can be. We can be so refined. We can be like Jays when it comes to our passion. But if you look at my bedroom, no, don't. It's a mess. Or if you look at my studio, it is not organized. I appear to be organized. I appear to have everything in order. Therefore, people will second guess. Oh, you must be an S. You must be a sensory. Oh my gosh, if I was a sensory, my dad would love it. But I am not the type to put anything back in its spot. I've been this way my whole life. When it requires organization and I see a reason for it, I do it. But if I walk down the hall and I'm the only one that walks down this hall, and there's a piece of paper on the floor, I'll walk by it 100 times. I won't stoop over and pick it up, because one day maybe there's going to be another piece of paper on the floor, or maybe somebody's going to come over and they're going to see it, so I'm going to pick it up. But it doesn't bother me that it's laying on the floor. I could care less, because I'm living in my mind. I got better things to do than straighten up and tidy up. I am a mad scientist, so I'm literally just creating new things, and everything has like a method to its madness. So if I had somebody come in and organize it, it would be a disaster for me. But like I said, I like to have my own space that nobody else is inconvenienced by my clutter. And so when it comes to, when things have to be set and perfect, they are. It's just a matter of self-discipline. And just because you're an ENTP doesn't mean you can't have self-discipline. That's what really kind of irks me.
I have something to add about that before I forget. Like,
sure.
I don't know about your memory. Do you forget things when they come?
No.
Like you want to say something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And someone is talking. Mm-hmm. Then you wait a little bit, then it's gone.
Temporarily. I have a thing called...
It happens to me a lot. Like I get like a lot of information, and then I want to say something, and then as soon as I manage to take my turn to speak, I forget about what I wanted to say.
It happens a lot, but the thing is, I will remember it down the line. I never forget it. It could be a month, and I will email that guy, hey, remember what we were saying? And I do it because I think I have to.
I'll not be that consistent.
Oh yeah,
I will not email it to that person whatsoever. I will leave it, and then if the conversation brings it again, then I'm gonna pop it. What happens to me is that I can be in the state of being careless about. I don't like dirty environment. I don't mind chaotic environment. Mm-hmm. I don't like dirt, but chaos is not bothering me, but dirt is, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it's like some periods, like I want to figure out something, I want to brainstorm something, I want to solve something. That's when I get into this mode of not caring that much about my environment. Mm-hmm. But once it's solved, then I need to take action, and I need to be present in the real world. I become much more like an ESTP, ENTJ, or like it has to be on point. I have to be. Everything has to be. Everything have to be like cluttered and very sensory. If you would look at me at that point, you would think, oh, he's probably
ENTJ,
like ESTJ or ESTP. Like I would be very present in reality, and I would broadcast it that I'm the man. I'm the man that you need for that job. I will do the thing. I will go and slay clients. That's how I work. Once it's clear, once it's clear in my mind, like I adapt to reality, and it's like a con artist. To the point of being a con artist. It's like putting on a mask. I believe that you do the same thing. It's like putting on a mask, putting on clothes, and then playing on my appearance and my way of speaking, and I'm trying to be convincing and persuasive. It reaches that point with me, but it depends on when I need to get to that point. I'm not like that all the time. All the time, I want to be stimulated mentally. Like I want stimulating things, stimulating conversation, encounters. That's what I'm after all the time.
All the time, yeah. And that's the thing, is anything that's titillating, it's like, you just want to wrap your mind about, I got to know all the things. And you do have an ENTJ kind of a vibe about you, like you're cool, calm, and collected, but some of my best friends are ENTJs, and we have this witty banter that we go back and we could laugh for like so long, but things have to be like so in order for them, like it's so important. And I don't think that's like you. I don't think I know you're a P type. So even though you like order, I mean, where I live in a very nice, clean environment. But like I said, if in my bedroom where nobody goes for 14 years now. I've been single all this time, but I'm in an INFJ relationship. So when somebody does, see my room, it's like, oh, it'd be, well, if they were going to see my room, it'd be clean. Because I don't want the appearance of who I really am, which is a slob, and just throw my clothes anywhere. And if it doesn't need to be fixed, I don't have time. I'm working on so many projects that's the least important thing. And then if you're living with someone who's like an ESTJ, who has to have absolutely everything. Oh, did you move this thing, and then put it back a little? Yeah, okay. I'm not the sensory type to notice that kind of. I can't. Like, I could be looking for something all over the house, and I've already looked at it like 3 times, and I didn't realize I looked at it because I'm looking, and then I'm starting to think about, gee, I wonder how much is, a spoonful of the sun weighs in the center if I could take it. I just get like,
Yeah.
And what was I looking for?
definitely,
I'm in the action of looking for the thing that I'm missing. It happened yesterday, and I'm like, I looked right there 3 times, and my mind was somewhere else. And are you a happy person? No, you seem to when you're alone, when you're playing video games, when you're involved in the moment. That's your thrill. That's you're getting dopamine hits from that, right? So when you're just shredding in a game, it's like you feel like this like godlike state of being like invincible. No one can stop you. When I play foosball, that's the way it is. I had to stop playing because I won't let anyone score. Like I'll take my goalie and score all day long from my goalie. It's just like it's not even fun at that point because you're just shredding so much, you're smashing so much, that it's like now there's no competition, so now I don't even want to do it. Have you gotten to that point in certain games and just thought, I want something more challenging?
With video games,
Yeah.
it's interesting that you're bringing video games. It's video games were for me for a very long time a way to escape reality.
Yeah.
Reality was not pleasing to me. I was not pleased with reality because I didn't have the tools to deal with other people. I didn't have the tools to exist. I didn't know how to efficiently exist. So I've put that on standby, and I would be shutting my brain. It's like I've tested ISTP, and I do understand like how I would test ISTP. For example, if you're getting punched in the face, would you be able to think about something else and be imaginative and creative and whatever? You're just thinking about being punched in the face, It's like you take that concept and you apply it to other parts of your life. If you have an immediate problem that you have to deal with right now, it's the only thing that you see. You cannot be creative. You cannot think about solutions. You cannot think about anything. You just need a break from reality. So then you can enter your mind, and then you can develop a full understanding of your position, where you're standing and what's happening around you. Then you can have more options into solving your issue and dealing with it, and you kind of toy with it into knowing like, okay, if I solve it this way, how long is it going to be sustainable? Is it going to be like short term, long term? And I would keep on playing with multiple possibilities on how to solve something and see the best positioning. It's ENTPs. They say that ENTPs look for advantage points. So I would put myself in an advantage point, then I would put myself in another advantage point, and I would keep on putting myself in these advantage points.
Pole positions, yeah.
So ultimately, I would have the lifestyle that I would want. I would have the lifestyle or the freedom. Like, I want to create for myself what would give me the opportunity to be myself or exist or not care about as many things as possible. It's like I'm tapping into my shadow, INTJ, into accomplishing things, so I'll be free, and then I can breathe. And then like the INTJ shadow is very pessimistic about life, and especially when you're in a position where you see chaos and uncertain future, then you kind of forecast the worst scenario type, and then you attack that beast with all what you got. into finding a solution to yourself for a better position, so you would have more freedom. You know, it's like some people love money, and some people love what money can accomplish. I'm the type of person that loves what money can accomplish.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil, means to an end. Yeah, and I think that in all these things, I've been a fighter since I was 9 in martial arts, competing, and so in American style karate originally, but you use everything as a judo move. So if it's chaos that you didn't create, you have to think about how to get in front of that momentum to shift it ever so slightly with, clever whatever. You have, sleight of hand, sleight of tongue. You can create, scenarios, but the best thing is to be able to create the chaos, and it's easier to control. But it's not easy for anyone else to, because they don't know how to get in front of it and use it. And if you did, well, then you got a little bit of, nice rivalry going on. But I think that you should look at all these if it's a challenge, if it's chaotic in a relationship, there are ways to actually get in front of those too. And, just because I've been married and divorced twice doesn't mean I can't give great advice. So I know that rhymed, but unintentionally. And I'm really I'm convinced that if you have the understanding, the empathy of the person in a relationship that you're struggling with in the chaos, because this is the worst kind of chaos. But this advice goes out to those that you learn what triggers them and beat them to the punch. It's called like smoking out the objective in sales. It's like a sales. I mean, everything is sales. Life is sales. I used to be a motivational speaker for small corporations, where I explained interpersonal relationships, selling and building. And so I'm actually developing an app with a company not with a company, for all companies, and using the 16 personality types. And I'm not going to talk too much more about that, but maybe you and I can talk about that some other time. I'm building a team of people that are internet savvy and app savvy, and also, if you can imagine it, you can do it. That's the thing, is we have so we can do anything, and that's why I'm actually working on the T-shirt right now. So get ready for that.
I know. You have a great talent and creative talent of making these T-shirts. I don't put that much interest. Like, if I was in your position, I would probably be doing exactly the same thing. It's just that, like, my mind is filled with other objectives. And as I told you, like, imagining the worst case scenario and then slaying the beast is what fills my mind. And what I wanted to say is that about manipulation, I'm capable of manipulation. The point is that I've gathered, like, I've picked morals through the religion that I believe in. I'm Muslim,
right?
And in Islam, I'm not supposed to be manipulative. It is a sin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Instead of being manipulative, I'm being direct. I'm avoiding. Like, I'm building myself in a way that it will be, it will make sense.
Lost you, buddy.
What happened?
I don't know. It says your webcam was lost.